Hello everyone, it is that time again. We're going to be talking about the CG Open Invite, our community-based tournament that we run across the period of a month. Again, so round 1 of Season 3 has now been completed. We're going to be showing off the best duel of each match from each of the competitors here in this video. There are 16 competitors here. Unfortunately, one of our rounds couldn't go ahead, so we've got 7 really high quality duels here using a whole bunch of really wild strategies, to be honest. So it has been an absolute blast. If you yourself want to ask questions or get involved in things like this in the future, you can, of course, as the screen says, join the Discord below, contact me directly, and we can get you entered into Season 4 whenever it starts in April. So absolutely get involved. You can jump into the Discord, chat to me, chat to the players, or you can just subscribe to the channel to keep tabs on not only the progression of the CG Open Invite as it goes on, but also all of the other content that we do here on the channel, be it deck profiles, be it streams, be it whatever it is you're here and interested in. But again, I'm not going to take up any more of your time. Let's get into the gameplay. Alright, we've got a match here between myself and Tyson 10 here. Looks like we got Branded Thunder Dragons up against the Crusadia. Now that Ash Blossom really hurts here, stopping the Branded Fusion right off the bat, very heavily limiting the amount of plays that can be made here by our Branded. So we're simply going to set 2 and hope for the best. Now this was game 3, so we did have a rough idea of what was going on. We got Potted Desires, drawing 2, ripping into the Parallel Exceed as well as Infinite Impermanence. Absolutely nuts. Summoning out the Crusadia Magius then. Foreman Skipper is going to activate, although I don't believe it's going to have a target left to add because Parallel Exceed is going to be summoning itself out to the field here. Foreman Skipper grabbing another Exceed from the deck. That does mess up the Exceed play because we only play 2, so we're not able to use the one that we summoned. We're going to go Regulex then. Regulex, we're going to summon Arborea underneath it, activating its effect. We're going to Infinite Impermanence here because we don't want our Crusadia player grabbing Crusadia Power, which would make one of their boss monsters unaffected anyway, so might as well use the card while we can. We're going to go Crusadia Equimax, summoning out the Reclusia, popping itself and the monster, protecting itself with the Arborea, triggering off Tragedy, except no, it isn't. He's got Called by the Grave and everything. Gonna have to give up the Ghost Spell here to negate that Call by the Grave, which is somewhat unfortunate, but it is what it is. With our monster on board, though, the power of the Crusadia Equimax Scavers isn't all that significant, so we're going to set 1, swing for 24, and pass. So we do end up giving ourselves another turn here, but this is going to be a pretty difficult one to turn around, considering Equimax has that negate. We're going to go Despian Tragedy, banishing it from the graveyard to set the Branded Fusion back to the field. We normal summon our Fallen of Albaz, ditching the Aliber. This does, of course, get negated by the Equimax, but that was the whole point. We wanted it to get negated, just so that he couldn't use that same negate on Branded Fusion. But there is another Ash Blossom stopping the second Branded Fusion, meaning we're not going to be fusing anything together here today. We're going to swing into the Equimax, taking it out just so that he can't summon out something like, I can't remember the name of it, the Maximus or whatever it is, to double the damage he deals over a monster. And that's what he top decks. He top decks the Maximus that otherwise would have been lethal. So we grant ourselves an extra turn by crashing into our opponent there. We've got one last card, one last draw to turn it around, and we draw Branded Opening, which has discard cost, meaning it's completely useless. We simply have to pass it back to Tyson 10 here, who is going to swing in for a well-deserved victory, 4,400 to the face, and walking away with the game using Crusadia. Again, talk about a deck that just continues to swing and will not go down. Crusadia performing very well. Double Ash Blossom really did hurt there, not being able to resolve any of our Branded Fusions, but you know, that's just the way the cards work sometimes. Very well done to Tyson 10 there on a 2-1 victory. Alrighty, getting into our game between Seymour Bots here and the Geyser TTVs. We're going to start off with Parlor Dragon Maid, dumping Dragon Maid tidying to the graveyard, summoning out Dragon Maid Nurse, or Nurse Dragon Maid. Then we're going to link summon to Sprite Elf. Sprite Elf reviving the Nurse Dragon Maid in the graveyard, which will then special summon back the Parlor from the grave as well. Very interesting combo there. The gigantic Sprite making its way out, detaching 2 materials to summon any level 2 from the deck, bringing out Sprite Blue. We've got the first appearance of Sprite in the CG Open Invite. Then we've got Jet adding their Sprite Starter. Sprite Starter now going to activate to summon a Carrot, inflicting 1,000 damage to themselves before they go into a second Sprite Elf. Now Link summoning also into an IP Masquerena before ending their turn. So this is a bit of a rough situation here for our Dark Magician player. Let's see if our Dark Magician Branded is able to get the win. We are going to be dealing with a Max C, unfortunately. We're going to go Call by the Grave on the Max C. See if that can stop us here. They are going to go Sprite Carrot, tributing the Elf here. I don't know if they knew this, but you can use Sprite Elf's effect in this situation to simply revive the Max C to stop it from getting hit with Call by the Grave without actually sacrificing anything. So a little bit of a misplay there from our Sprite player, but it is, at the end of the day, still going to stop the Max C. Or stop the Call by the Grave, sorry. They're going to go Rod. Rod's going to grab them Magician Salvation. Salvation setting Eternal Soul directly from the deck to the field. Now they're going to link off into Nightmare Unicorn. Unicorn discarding a card to target a card on the field, shuffling it back into the deck so the Soul is no more. Sending Salvation to draw into the Eternal Soul again. What a top deck. We're going to go into Lubellion, the Searing Dragon. Lubellion then on summon can discard a card to fusion summon by shuffling cards back into the deck. We're going to drop one of our Magician Souls there to the graveyard. We're going to shuffle 2 back to bring out Mirror Jade, the Ice Blade Dragon. Very good showing here. We're going to grab Ad Libitum of Despia here. Mirror Jade going to send an Albion to banish their Nightmare Unicorn before swinging in for 4,600 points of damage, bringing our Zay down to 2,400, setting the Eternal Soul. They go to search their deck for an additional branded card, but they do get hit with the Ash Blossom, unfortunately, so no additional searches, although we have definitely taken command of this game. We do not, unfortunately, have any form of interruption here. We have already used our Mirror Jade's effect, and without branded in red, we're not going to be doing any extra fusion summoning. So our Dragon Maid Sprite player has full reign over the field. They're able to go nuts here, reviving back their Chamber. Chamber gets searching. They're going to grab themselves Change Over. Change Over is going to be able to fusion summon out the 2 monsters in their hand to summon Xiao to the field. Now, using the remaining level 2s on their board, they can go into the Gigantic Sprite. Gigantic Sprite grabbing any level 2 monster from their deck, including Sprite Blue. Really taking a bit of a risk here, grabbing the Sprite Jet. Jet's going to grab them a spell card. There is the Sprite Starter. And then they're going to Exceed Summon into the Sky Cavalry Centurion. They're going to take out the Souls, take out the Rod. They're big enough to get over Mirror Jade using their Xiao, and then they're going to swing directly for 1,600. However, now that they've destroyed the Dragon, the Mirror Jade, they're no longer in a position where they can... now, at the end of this turn, their whole board is going to get wiped out. And I know what you're thinking here. I'm pretty sure with this card... yeah, so the reason they couldn't use Xiao to negate is because as part of Xiao's negate, you have to summon a House Dragon Maid from your extra deck. Well, the Gigantic Sprite locks you out of doing that. That's going to be a major halt in the synergy between the two. They're going to wipe out the whole field thanks to Mirror Jade. We do have a face down starter, so we're just praying and hoping that our Dark Magician player doesn't have anything, but unfortunately we've got the branded fusion. We're going to activate it right away, going into Lubellion once again. Lubellion then discarding the Dark Magician to fusion summon, shuffling back 2 cards to go into the Dragon Knight, making their back row immune to being targeted or destroyed. They're going to flip up the Eternal Soul, which will then make their Dragon Knight immune to any card effects, which is amazing. Sprite Blue coming out to the field, searching their deck 1 extra time at the cost of 1,100 life points, but unfortunately it's simply not enough. Fusing 2 into a second copy of Lubellion the Searing Dragon, and that is lethal. That is a 2, and we're summoning back the Dark Magician as well. I wish we had done that first and had the Dark Magician finish, but it is what it is. Very good game there from both sides. Very interesting plays with the Dragon Maid sprites. Definitely not a deck I was expecting to see. There is a few sort of gaps in the synergy between the two, as we saw. A couple of plays maybe could have been done better, but again, Seymour Butts we've seen all throughout the CG Open Invite in the past iterations of videos on the channel. We've seen that this has been a very consistent and powerful player, so they were definitely up against the wall. Very solid performance to both sides. 2-0 victory to Seymour Butts. Alright, so we've got Ace up against Ro here. Looks to be Silent Magician / Magician Girls up against Gene Raiders, which is going to be an interesting matchup here. Grabbing the Illusion of Chaos off of Chaos Space, setting 1 and ending our turn. So not the best opening here from our Magicians. We are going to go for the Condemned Witch, which is going to grab us Forbidden Droplet directly from our deck. We're going to set 4. We're going to inflict a petty 100 damage. That attack was pure pettiness. And then we're going to simply end our turn. We've got a really solid setup here as Generators. We're going to go Illusion of Chaos. Now, our opponent's going to activate their trap card, which is, it doesn't necessarily negate the effect of the Illusion of Chaos. It changes its effect. Then we're going to activate our generator boss room, which gives us a negate, essentially. And we're going to use our Condemned Witch to summon out any level 4 fairy from our deck. So we're going to go Lopter, Shadow of the Generator Bosses, I'm pretty sure his name is. Yep. Okay, so then our field spell is going to summon out Har, Generator Boss of Storms. And then we're going to summon out 3 generator tokens to our field to use basically as fuel for our Har's effect. We're going to go Magician Souls, dumping the DMG to the graveyard before tributing it off for our Silent Magician. Summoning out Mardell from our deck though, as well as going for Summon Limit. Summon Limit's going to limit both players to summoning no more than 2 times per turn. Our Dark Magician, Magician Girl player here has hit their second summon, so unfortunately they're not big enough to get over any of our opponent's monsters here. Very unfortunate. We're simply going to pass our turn. We're going to activate a generator boss quest. We're going to use Silent Magician to hopefully negate that spell card, but we get hit with the Forbidden Droplet, pitching the the boss quest to the graveyard in order to negate the Silent Magician having its attack points. So again, yet another unfortunate turn of events for ourselves here. We're going to shuffle back our Har, grabbing our boss stage and our boss fight. Just as a bit of backup, switching all of our monsters to attack mode. We're going to swing in, taking out the Silent Magician, activating the Magician's effect to summon out the Silent Magician level 8. Simply too powerful for him to get over, but it's not too powerful to be banished. Using our Phantom Fortress here, banishing the Silent Magician level 8, before using Pot of Prosperity, banishing 3 to check the top 3 cards of our deck for a usable card among them, and we grab the Forbidden Chalice. Very solid card. We're going to set 1 and simply pass our turn. We're not interested in setting the boss fight here apparently. We're going to use our field spell, summoning out Har, Generator Boss of Storms directly from the deck, as well as 3 generator tokens, again to be used as fuel for our generator effects. We're going to go main phase 1, activating Chaos Space to shuffle back our Silent Magician level 8 into the deck, drawing 1, drawing into the Magician's Rod here. They're going to snipe the Illusion of Chaos out of the hand, then they're going to tribute 2 monsters to negate the Rod. That is devastating. That's a lot of negation, a lot of card advantage lost there, unfortunately. We're simply going to set our remaining cards and pass turn. It's not looking good for the Magician Girls here. It's looking real rough, to be honest with you. We're going to go Phantom Fortress here, detaching material to banish any cards your opponent controls, non-targeting. We're going to use the Eternal Souls effect here, grabbing Dark Magic attack from the deck. We don't yet have a Dark Magician in play, which is very unfortunate. Using our field spell as well as Hard Generator Boss of Storms. Boss of Storms going to snipe that remaining card out of their hand. Oh, actually, maybe it's not. I thought it was going to. Apparently not. They're going to summon out their Generator Boss Room of Fire. And that is pretty much going to be lethal. 31 here from the Boss of Fire. And that is enough to bring it to a close. That is a 2-0 victory here to our friend Ace over Ro. Very solid attempt with the Magician Girls, but the generators were simply too much to be dealt with. Very good performance. Alright, we've got Silmill HD versus Rainstriver. We've got Code Talkers up against Marinsa. So the Cybers matchup here. We'll go Blue Slug then. Blue Slug's going to add the Seahorse back to the hand. Seahorse then summoning itself out to the field before linking off into the Sea Angel. Sea Angel's going to grab them a spell card, being the Battle Ocean, directly from deck to hand. They're going to go into Splash Mage here, which can basically revive one of their monsters back from the graveyard. Looking at our hand, we are absolutely stacked for hand traps here. We're going to be linking off now into the Coral Anemone. The Coral Anemone then targeting the Splash Mage in the graveyard, reviving it back to the field before linking off finally into the Aqua Argonaut. Coral Anemone then activating its effect in grave, while our Battle Ocean is going to equip on a bunch of Link monsters to our Argonaut. Argonaut summons out equips on 3 Link monsters from the graveyard, and then they're simply going to end their turn. They did not go into the triangle to search for the trap card. Very, very interesting. We're going to go Lady Debug here, grabbing Microcoder directly from the deck to hand, and we're going to link 2 using our Microcoder off into Code Talker. We got some Code Talker action coming up here with Microcoder now searching the deck for the Cynet Codec. Cynet Codec's going to let them add a whole bunch of cards from deck to hand. They're going to link summon once again using Code Generator to go into the Transcode Talker, triggering off Cynet Codec to add a Earth monster from their deck to their hand, and also the Code Generator to pitch a Cybers monster from deck to graveyard. They're going to send the Sigma. Sigma, of course, cannot special summon itself from grave because we do have something in the extra monster zone. We are able to summon Gichiri out to our field. See Archiver also bringing itself out to the field as well, before bringing out Access Code Talker. Signet Codec then is going to target the Access Code Talker, grabbing ourselves a Dark Monster from our deck. We've got Gichiri, who's going to make our Access Code Talker unaffected by all of our card effects, and the Talker himself that'll boost himself up to 5,300 attack points. Now the Access Code Talker is going to activate its effect, banishing a card to destroy the Battle Ocean, which removes all of the Argonaut's attack boosts before finally taking care of the Argonaut itself, triggering the Anemone. But it is going to get banished by Call by the Grave, although we do have the double Ghost Bell, so the Ghost Bell being in hand, negating the Call by the Grave, but we got the double Call by the Grave, also stopping the Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansion. Holy crap. We have summoned a whole bunch of times, however we gotta be careful here because I'm pretty sure we're in Nib territory. We're gonna banish the Anemone and the Ghost Bell, negating both of them. But we're going to now go to end phase instead of battle phase. I don't know if there was some sort of restriction or a problem there, but apparently not. We're going to go Blue Tang. Blue Tang sending Spring Girl from deck to graveyard before finally link summoning into the Blue Slug. The Blue Tang is going to activate in graveyard as the Slug targets the Spring Girl. Blue Tang revealing the top 3 of the deck and adding one of them from deck to hand, adding the Spring Girl to the hand as well. For Slug adds another copy of the Spring Girl to hand, so a little bit redundant. We're going to special out the Seahorse then linking off into Sea Angel once again, adding the Marincess Dive this time. We're going to go Spring Girl's effect, banishing the Blue Tang, the special summon itself to the field before linking off into Marbled Rock. Spring Girl then in graveyard is going to send a top card of the deck from the graveyard, getting rid of the Feather Duster, which isn't going to do a ton of favors. Grabbing the Battle Ocean, which is now going to finally boost up our monsters and give us some more versatility. We're going to go Pascalis from the deck and Spring Girl from the hand to go into the Stealth Kraken. Stealth Kraken then destroying the Sea Archiver, dealing 150 points of damage to our opponent here. Now that the Access Code Talker is no longer protected by Gichiri, it is prime time food for the Kraken, but it does banish itself to take care of the field spell, so we don't need to Kraken it anymore. They are going to start summoning out monsters here. Effective Healer is stopping the Lady Debug from searching the deck yet again, while Kraken is also going to be activating to snipe one of these cards. He snipes the Sigma, dealing 500 points of damage, while the Lady Debug does in fact get negated. However, we have that Microcoder in hand. We added it back to the hand during the last turn. We're going to go Code Talker once more, triggering the Signet Codec to search our deck for a Dark Monster. Microcoder then also activating to grab a Signet spell or trap. We're going to grab Signet Mining, the Royal Rare Mining, while grabbing the Scriptron directly from deck to hand. We're going to go Mining, dropping the Dotskipper to the grave to grab ourselves a Circular. Dotskipper then is going to resummon itself to the field, while Circular is going to pitch a Diameter from deck to grave to summon itself out as well. We're going to go into Transcode Talker. Transcode Talker is going to activate its effect, bringing back the Code Talker, getting negated by the Ghost Bell, which is now live again after being negated by Call by the Grave for the last 2 turns. We still have that Nib in hand. We're going to go Scriptron, banishing the Dotskipper. Dotskipper's effects can only be used once per turn, but we're finally going to land Nibiru on the board, summoning out a 9,700 attack point token onto our opponent's board, and we finally draw into the Marincess Wave, which is unfortunately simply not enough. Pascalis is going to grab Marincess Dive back from our graveyard, activating it to grab a Spring Girl, summoning it back out to the field, linking off one into the Blue Slug. Spring Girl's effect then, I believe, what is it? Send the top card of the deck to the graveyard or something to that effect, I'm not entirely sure. Blue Slug's going to add the Seahorse back to hand, which can summon itself pretty effectively. We're going to send Call By, which doesn't do us any favours. We're going to summon out the Sea Angel yet again, 3 of each. We're really burning through our whole extra deck in this game. We're going to grab another copy of the Marincess Dive, simply because we don't have anything else worth grabbing. The Coral Anemone, summoning back the Splash Mage. Splash Mage grabbing back the Spring Girl, linking off yet again into the Great Bubble Reef. Now we're struggling to get enough attack points to get over that Primal Being token. It is being a bit of a problem, activating the Battle Ocean. Unfortunately, we simply do not have the resources to get past the token right now. We're going to use the Bubble Reef's effect, banishing Splash Mage to draw a card, boosting up our own attack points by an additional 600. They're going to swing in with a token, dealing 6,300 points of damage. Absolutely massive. Mathmech Equation bringing out the Diameter as well from the graveyard, not really doing much of anything else, and ending their turn. We have to really make plays happen this turn, otherwise we are going to be struggling. Bringing out the Sleepy Maiden, activating Marincess Dive, summoning out Blue Tang directly from the deck. They're going to send a Marincess card from deck to graveyard for linking off into Crystal Heart. Crystal Heart is going to be a defensive key here in trying to turn this around. Spring Girl and the Blue Tang are activating in the graveyard. Spring Girl doing nothing yet again. Blue Tang is going to grab them one of these Marincess cards from the top of their deck. They're going to grab the Spring Girl. Seahorse activating in grave, banishing itself to summon out Spring Girl from the hand. We're going to link off into the Coral Triangle. We really should have seen this card earlier in the game. It can boost its attack points up quite significantly, but 9700 is an impossible target. We're going to take out the Diameter, and I believe, yes, we're simply going to pass back to our opponent here. 97 is simply too much. I don't know why we just didn't have the Access Code Talker. We summoned every card in our extra deck, every single card. We went through all of our options, all of our resources. We went through everything to try to pull out the win, but at the end of the day, we take an L to our very own token. Amazing performance, honestly. Really good duel, back and forth there. A very, very difficult match on both sides. It was a 2-0 victory to Silmil, taking the win from our reigning champion Rainstriver. But either way, both duels did very, very well, but especially well done to Silmil. Alrighty, so we've got Punks Zombies versus Violence, Yeetus versus 6C42. Whatever, I have a stroke every time I read that name. Either way, we're going to start off with our Violence plans. I would like to know this deck a lot better, but I can't be rhyming these off as quickly as I normally would anything else. Grabbing Senate Switch, though, basically allows you to move a monster from one zone to another, which is pretty important because the Violence monsters, what they want to do is they want to summon themselves from the Pendulum zones, right? So you need to make sure these two monster zones to the far side are open, and they all gain effects whenever they're removed from one zone to another, and they also basically all roll dice as well. So this guy's going to roll a dice. He's going to check the top 4 cards of the deck. He's going to add to his hand the Shinome, or whatever its name is. They're going to summon out the Shinome using the field spell that he gives to us before going into Beyond the Pendulum. Beyond the Pendulum, grabbing him the Kaiden Kendo Spirit. Then we're going to go Fusion Destiny, fusing 2 of our monsters together from the deck, bringing out DPE. And we're going to pass turn here and now. We didn't have an awful lot to do. We didn't have the ability to Pendulum Summon because we only had the one Pendulum monster, so we had to cut our turn short there. We're going to go into Z-Amin here as the zombie player. Z-Amin getting popped before it can activate its effect. Our opponent here assuming that that's going to be enough to stop us, but with Zombie World and a second Z-Amin in hand, you're not even coming close. We're going to grab the Foxy Toon, sending Foxy Toon and Mizuki to summon out Deer Note, and our Z-Amin going into the Chaos Ruler, which will basically mill the top 5 cards out of our deck, and Deer Note's going to get the option to summon out one of our Punk monsters from the graveyard as well. So out comes the Foxy Toon. So these two are really, really powerful. Both of level 8s mean you're going to be able to exceed summon into the zombie, the Vampire Zombie, or Zombie Vampire. Zombie Vampire is going to mill another 4 cards from the top of both players' decks, and you get to summon a monster among them. We grab the Cheng Shi, which is yet another mill. Gozuki then banishing another monster to summon a Unizombie from hand, sending Mizuki. Unizombie now sending another Mizuki, absolutely filling the graveyard full of gas, going into Baron de Fleur. Baron de Fleur then, of course, being a level 10 really powerful Synchro monster, summoning back our Gozuki from the graveyard, pitching the Mad Mauler. Mad Mauler now going to reduce the level of one of our monsters down by 2. Or sorry, no, we're going to go for Unizombie's effect. Apologies. Unizombie going to ditch a card to boost itself up by 1. Synchro summoning into the Skeletal Dragon Felgrand. Felgrand banishing the Violence monster on the field. Mad Mauler now reducing Baron de Fleur down to level 8 so it can summon itself out to the field. Skeletal Dragon Felgrin now negating Beyond the Pendulum before synchro summoning into the Zombie Dragon Lord here. Red Eye Zombie Dragon Lord, swinging for 28, swinging for 3k, and that is game. Punk Zombies absolutely storming the field, even past the likes of a DPE and everything, so absolutely amazing deck. You can absolutely keep an eye out for that on the channel soon. That is one I definitely want to test, considering how much fun I've been having with Punk recently. So no, absolutely phenomenal game from both sides. It was a 2-0 victory here to 6ZZ42. I said it without having an aneurysm, and with that, let's get into the next. Alright, we've got ICU versus MT07, Eldritch versus Sword Souls, going for something a little bit closer to the tier list for this match. We're going to draw into the Golden Lord, followed by the Ace Dragon's Prison. Reasoning is coming out here. We're going to respond with the Maxi, so we're going to get to draw a card at least. We're going to reveal, looking for a level 4. We're going to send a couple of these spells and traps to the graveyard, some of which hold value in the grave, sending another Reasoning there. We hit the Golden Lord, bringing the Golden Lord out to the field there as a level 10. Then we're going to set a few cards, activating the Cursed Eldland, paying 800 life points to grab ourselves Golden Land Forever. Setting Golden Land Forever and using our Black Awakening to summon out a second Golden Lord out to our field before ending our turn. Looks like as Sword Soul, we have a pretty stacked hand here. We've got a couple of copies of Ecclesia, we've got the Adhara. The Adhara is going to get negated by the Golden Land Forever, negated and destroyed, so no more Ashuna, not Adhara. Ashuna for you, my friend, into the battle phase. After the battle phase, going for evenly matched, activating Aquero of the Golden Land. Not that it really means an awful lot in this particular context. We're still going to be able to banish everything here from the field. We banished one of our Golden Lords. I believe we have one in the grave and one in the hand though, so we're still looking good. We're going to bring out Sword Soul of Mo Yi, revealing the Taya to summon out a token. The Royal Mo Yi, by the way, and the Royal Grandmaster. This man is going absolutely ham on those Sword Souls. Double Royal Rare. We're going to respond in kind with the Ace Dragon's Prison, yoinking the Mo Yi from the graveyard in order to banish both it and the Grandmaster, clearing out the board, but we still get to resolve our effects, drawing one and searching for the Strategist. We're going to set a card and pass. You know, we're confident enough we don't need to use the Strategist just yet. We're simply going to hold off until next turn. We're going to now set the Conquistador to our field. We're going to use Card of the Maze, drawing 2. We're going to set our droplet before using our Golden Lord, pitching it and a card to try and send this card to the graveyard. It's called by the Grave, which is going to banish a second Golden Lord, negating its effects for the next 2 turns. So we're down to just one remaining Golden Lord, which puts us in a very rough position. We're going to go Zombie Necronaze, adding back one of our Golden Lords to the deck while setting our Necronaze back to the field. So recovering one of them at the very least, which is very, very good. Setting a Guardian before using our Golden Lord to send the Guardian, but its effect is negated. It will be negated for the next 2 turns, but the Guardian will be setting an Elixir to the field, so it all works out in the end. It was more than likely just to get that Elixir out there. Going into the standby phase of our Sword Soul turn here, we're going to go with Hara first. Responding in kind with an Elixir of Scarlet Sanguine. That means we're going to have our Golden Lord face up on the field. We do have a few cards on our field that we can use. We're going to go Conquistador. Conquistador stopping the Adhara. We really don't want our opponent bringing out Monk of the Tinya here. We're going to go Ecclesia here, sending our Conquistador to negate the Ecclesia here. So no more tributes for you. They're going to bring out the Taya. They're going to Synchro Summon using the Taya and the token to go into Baxia, the Brightness of the Yang Zing, bouncing 2 cards back into the deck, using Sword Soul of Taya here to send a card from their deck to the graveyard, sending a Mo Yi. Now they're going to use Boxy here, destroying the Ecclesia to revive the Mo Yi, so now they can use its effect to summon out another Sword Soul token. Absolutely amazing play here, coming out, getting the Grandmaster, which is going to search their deck for yet another card while Mo Yi gets to draw them one, so they're going to have enough materials in hand to go into their Strategist as well. Drawing into the Vishuddha, searching their deck for the Royal Emergence. This is an absolute Sword Soul stand right here, bringing out the token before finally Synchro Summoning into Sword Soul Supreme Sovereign Cheng Ying. We're going to inflict 1200 points of damage by a card effect, 47 with the Supreme Sovereign, and then finally finishing the game with 28 from the Grand Master. That is a 2-0 victory to MTO7 using our Sword Souls. Lots of Royal Rare cards in there. Really cool deck. I do love me some Sword Souls. It is a tiered deck, as Eldritch isn't currently tiered, but it normally is as well. So this is a bit of a clash of the Titans almost, if you want to look at it that way. But no, 100%, very well done by both players. That is a 2-0 victory to MTO7. Alrighty, getting into game here between Devexel and Super Idol. We've got Raid Raptors versus Mech Knight Crystal Beast. Now, even just saying that out loud is absolutely nuts. We're going to imperm here preemptively on the, Straggler, whatever this thing is? Strangle. We're going to use our 4 Strix. 4 Strix going to grab us another monster from deck here. We're going to grab Raider's Wing out, going into a second copy of the 4 Strix. 4 Strix, detaching a material to once again search our deck for a monster. The Singing Lanius. Singing Lanius special summons out to go into the Wise Strix here. Wise Strix then activates its effect to grab the Zephyros directly from the deck, using rank up magic, Skip Force, to bring out the Revolution Falcon. So pretty interesting board here from our Raid Raptor player. The Lightning Storm, though, is going to put a swift end to any potential opposition we would be facing, activating Crystal Bond to grab ourselves the Crystal Beast Rainbow Dragon as well as our Sky Pegasus. Now, this is really cool because cards like this allows you to place your Crystal Beast into your spell and trap card zone, which will then facilitate the summoning of your Mech Knights, which is really cool. We're going to go Max C here. Max C is going to slow down our Mech Knight Crystal Beast quite a lot. So we're going to grab a Purple Nightfall directly from the deck. We're going to normal summon out the Sapphire Pegasus, placing a Crystal Beast Rainbow Dragon, banishing it to summon a second Sapphire Pegasus, giving our opponent one draw. We're going to activate our Rainbow Dragon here whenever our Pegasus attacks, taking out his monster, giving us 1800, 2000, and 3000 direct damage. Now our opponent does get to draw a couple of cards off of that. Now we're going to go into number 41, Baguska. So another draw for our opponent, but that is hopefully going to shut them down until the next turn. So Super Idol really needs to put in a lot of work here to bring this match back, but they might just be playing the deck to do it. They're going to go into Quick Launch, summoning out the Rocket Recharger. Using Zephyros, they're going to return the Recharger back to hand to summon Zephyros out to the field. Then they're going to normal summon their Tribute Lanius. Using Tribute Lanius' effect, it actually gets negated anyway. The Rank Up Magic Skip Force going to banish itself and another monster from the graveyard to summon out the Revolution Falcon. Now we're going to go for the Phantom Knight's Rank Up Magic Launch, bringing out the Arsenal Falcon. Using this spell card here. It does get switched to defense though. We have the Raider's Wing detaching material to special summon itself onto the field, and we're going to pass turn here, hoping that our big wall of monsters is going to be enough to keep us safe while the number 41 is out saying it's welcome. We're going to switch all our monsters to attack points here. We're going to go in for Lethal. We're going to go Purple Nightfall, activating its effect, banishing itself to grab Blue Sky, and then taking its place on the field. Blue Sky is searching our deck for another Purple Nightfall, as well as our Indigo Eclipse. Indigo Eclipse special summoning itself out then. Then we got Mech Knight of the Morning Star coming out. Then we're going to go Red Moon. Red Moon banishing the Phantom Knight Blue Sky from the graveyard to destroy the Revolution Falcon, which will of course result in the summoning of the Final Fortress Falcon directly from the extra deck. 3800 attack, that thing could be a little bit difficult to get rid of for any monster other than Mech Knight Crusadia Avramax, who attacks, gains its attack points, and simply beats its ass. Really cool game. Two really cool decks as well, honestly. It's the first time I've ever seen Mech Knight Crystal Beast being played in Master Duel, and Raid Raptors I haven't seen since like the game's launch. So really cool being able to see two such unique strategies going head to head. Devexel does walk away over Super Idol with a 2-1 victory. Very well played to both parties. And here we have the results at the end of round 1. Here we can see a couple of people ranking up pretty high. 6CZ42 taking the lead with Devexel in second, and AGS Seymour Buds coming up in third. But again, this is just the first round. There is still everything to play for, and again, this is a mixture of competitors that have been playing before, as well as a number of brand new ones. Devexel, this is their first time in the CG Open Invite, as well as players like Zay, as well as there's a few other ones, NTO7. We've got quite a few new names in here, as well as a few classics that have been playing since it's come out. So again, big thank you to all of the competitors, new and old. Very well done to everyone. The replays and the gameplay is phenomenal. And again, let's just keep the good work going up throughout. If you want to stay in tune and keep an eye out for further iterations, matchups, things like that, we're going to be having one of these videos every single week for the duration of Season 3 of the CG Open Invite, covering off the best duels and the best matches every single week. If that's something you're interested in, or if you just want to see the other content we post, like deck profiles, like our streams, like our viewer games, anything like that, feel free to subscribe and like the video if you've watched this far and have enjoyed what you're seeing. And without further ado, I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.